Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Dear Dana. It is hump day. Hello in the bushes. Hello, everybody. Come on in. This is your intro to Dear Dana. We have a special night tonight and a very special guest. Yes, we have Kelvin Goga of Yoga with Goga. He does much more than yoga. He has a very layered and esteemed background. Shake off the week's blues. Shake off all the tension. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Exhale. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold it. Exhale. Hey, Shelly Marie.
So if I play
One
dead,
more inhale.
Regret everything that you did, that you said.
Hold it to the count of 4.
You understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you, I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing.
And I'm about to release this music.
Was it me?
Get ready, get ready.
I'm the one who's always sorry. The conclusion.
Here we go.
Even though I offer all of the solutions.
You're gonna relax. I'm letting go of that music. There's no way to ease the music off very well. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But hello and welcome to Dear Dana. I hope your week has been good so far. Here in Georgia, it's been rain, and lots of fog. Going in the bushes for the drive home. I don't blame you, Shelly Marie. And hello, Marie Crum. And hello, Yoga with Goga. I'm going to drop the link for you in just a moment. And I do have to preface tonight. I have MS. My special medication that's supposed to keep it at bay is finally coming. Thank the good Lord. But if you hear me sound a little off, which has happened before, or miss a beat or miss a word, it's because I have not had my disease-modifying medication. Don't worry, that is the cause of it. So, fair warning. Fair warning, I might sound like a drunk person, or I might look like a IA that has a click off. That needs to be, hello, Forensic Mystics, that needs to be turned off and turned back on. Think of me as a computer tonight. But anyway, I'm going to drop the link. Let's please give a very warm welcome to Kelvin Goga of Yoga with Goga. He is my very special guest from across the world in Kenya. I'm surmising that he's still in Kenya. And he had to set his clock to be here. So please, please, please be polite. Listen well. I'm going to start bringing special creators from around the world that deserve to be known. Please subscribe to his channel. He is a silver medal winner, Olympic winner in yoga. He teaches beautifully, eloquently, and very patient. Just watching his yoga is it's beautiful. And I'm sure he doesn't expect you to be able to do every move that he does, but let me tell you, it is a practice for a reason. I'm going to drop the link now. Everybody, give your heart and love to Kelvin Goga of Yoga with Goga. Here we go. I'm dropping the link for him. Thanks. Hey, Shay-B, thank you everyone for being here tonight, and those in the bushes as well. There goes the link. I'm so happy he's here and so excited. I met him at how do I say it? Fanatic Connecting Guru. That is another creator. He created his whole um, YouTube channel to connect creators, to help them build their channel, to create genuine connections among other creators. It's a beautiful thing because I know you all have seen creators go at each other. I don't believe in that. I believe in support and lifting everybody up. And I happened to connect with him, and little did I know the layers this young man has. Goga, I have dropped the link for you to come on. It is right below. Hopefully, it works for you. I dropped the link on your Instagram. I don't know. I guess it didn't work for you. Right below. Do you see it? Do you see it? And I hope you can understand my accent. It is Southern for sure. But I hope everybody's doing well on this Wednesday. I need the sun to come out because I want to go outside. I don't know if all of you have seen those lights that people put out on their trees outside, and they look like not icicles really. People have them in silver, white, and blue, and they're beautiful. Here is this wonderful guest. Hello.
Hey Dana, how you doing? I'm so sorry. My voice, this is not my morning voice because it's a bit early here.
I
How
can
you?
how what time is it there?
It's 5 in the morning. Just five. We got 5 in the morning.
I'm
So
so
yeah.
sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine because I mean I need to start the day early anyway. So I was like, okay, perfect. It works. It works. Because I usually have some class like at 6 in the morning on Wednesdays. So it works either way. So I was like, okay, 5 o'clock is perfect.
Do you have class today at 6 in the morning?
No, 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 not at all. Not at all. Today is a free day. That's why I was like, yeah, it works perfectly very well. We are aligned. We are aligned today.
Good. I used to teach classes to children in China at this time in the morning,
Wow.
and I did it
Awesome.
via the computer.
Uh-huh.
I would teach them English.
That's so cool. Like, wow, China, because China is like, it's about, what time is it in China? It's probably
12,
like 7. Yeah, it's
12,
about midday. Yeah,
12 hours difference.
yeah, yeah, 12 hours for you. So 7 hours for me. I've been to China before, and I remember it was very hard, connecting back home because I was like, what time is it at home and stuff. Yeah, but here I am. So thank you so much for inviting me into your space. This
I'm
feels nice.
so happy to meet you because I it's a weird thing. When I saw you in Fanatic Connecting Guru, that name is so hard for me to remember all the time.
I just say guru.
Yeah, but I felt an unusual connection to you. I tend to pick up, I'm very spiritual, very much so. There's a lot of layers to me too.
Oh, good.
And my background is I'm a psychotherapist,
Oh, nice.
and I'm certified in PIO, which is yoga and Pilates combined, but
Okay.
it moves faster
Okay.
than just it's like yoga on crack. But I've got MS now, multiple sclerosis.
Hmm.
I need to go back to regular yoga
Yeah.
because I've lost some muscle strength in my legs, and I don't want to do that. You know?
Yep.
Do you know
Yes.
what MS is?
Yeah. 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 I've definitely heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it can progress, and I don't want that either.
oh, so you better get back to it like as soon as yesterday.
Yeah, I lost my
Yeah.
little boy 5 years ago, so
Oh,
I was still working out and stuff, and then you know, pandemic came,
oh, yeah.
and I got a little lazy.
We all did.
Yeah,
Um,
I bet you did not.
No, no, no. I mean, we all did because and I mean, and I guess that's a good point to start the conversation because when you asked me, talk about what brought me into this space, it was
Yeah.
actually the pandemic because I never used to put myself out there. At one person I was very shy, like just exposing myself in anything, it was a bit crazy, which is a bit of a contradiction of sorts because based on my corporate world, I've been exposed several times. We've been in a space because of my bosses tend to be public figures, so yeah, so you get to be seen around a lot, but in that capacity. So when the pandemic happened and I was like just bored at home, nothing much happening, you couldn't go to work or anything. That was quite a good space. And I was like, wait, people like asking me about yoga because yoga is a very, how do I put it? I always say yoga is very fledgling, especially in this community, because there's always like a lot of uncertainty on what is really yoga, especially in such an African community. People think it's you're Hindu, and that also opens a whole debate there. So
Yeah.
everybody asks me, what are these things that you do that you post on your social media, your pictures and stuff like that? I'm like, yeah, it's yoga. It's yoga. It's yoga. So I was like, okay, now I need to demystify the practice to my community because if my community doesn't understand me, then clearly there's a
Yeah.
bit of yeah. And that's why I opened the space, and the channel was purely just to be able to demystify yoga practices. And of course, I picked the asana practice because that's the most visible form of yoga, the
Right.
physical postures, the exercises. That's the cool stuff. That's what people wanted to see. And they're like, oh wow, how do you do that? How do you do that? And you have to like explain it, break it down. So the pandemic for me, I guess it was a blessing just to be able to put myself out there as not just as a content creator, but also as a yoga teacher or instructor, because
Right.
that is a specialty that I got thankfully to India, and it's not something that I regret at all. Yeah,
I love
and
how you teach
appreciate it. I try. I mean, sometimes I don't even know what up. There's sometimes you tend to think you're an imposter. You're like, am I doing it right? Am I, but yeah, it always feels nice when you get amazing compliments from amazing people like you, Dana.
no, you are a silver medalist. How can you even think you're an imposter?
It
I mean,
happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us. But I appreciate. I always appreciate. I'm learning to. I mean, it's through yoga. I never used to even take compliments because I used to always feel people are not genuine in them and stuff like that. But I had to learn to accept. People actually sometimes genuinely mean what they say.
yeah.
And I had to like grow into accepting that and learning about that. Um, yeah,
I understand what you mean because I'm a person that I don't say what I don't mean
yeah, me too.
because I do it from the heart. And I feel like it's important because, like you, I grew up and I had a very, I mean, even the last probably, I've gotten better at it the last decade or so, but I
Yeah.
had a very difficult time accepting compliments too. I think a lot of people do
Yes, 100%.
because
Yeah,
we are our own worst enemy.
it's true.
Um, and I feel like if you're going to look at people and want to be kind and giving, right?
Mm,
You can't be that way if you're not going to allow it to be reciprocated.
absolutely. Yes,
Because if you are a spiritual person, there has to be balance.
100%. 100%.
And it was hard for me. It was hard for me to learn there has to be that spiritual exchange.
Absolutely, because everybody has, I mean, and I have seen it in some of your work, because of energies and stuff like that. Everybody has energy, and sometimes in that spiritual realm, you have to actually appreciate that. Hey, Kila Kit, I know Kila Kit. What is Kila Kit doing here? I I remember I told them that I'll be having an interview with you in the morning because I had to leave my live stream, and I told them, guys, I have to go sleep. I have an interview with Dana in the morning, and that is so early. So I'm glad to see her here. Um, yeah, so it's actually true what you're saying, that you have to be very, and yoga teaches you that you have to be very intentional and deliberate, especially when you are even taking the compliments. And you also have to, whatever you say has to be very intentional. It has to be something that builds somebody. It has to be something that gives the next person life. And I like what you said about sometimes it's important to mean what you say because it comes deep down from the heart, and that's what makes you a genuine and a honest person. So it's really something that I totally resonate with. Yeah,
Yeah, it's integrity.
that's it in a nutshell. That's it.
Yeah,
It's in a world that is full of a lot of facades and that kind of thing.
yeah. And with your practice, a lot of people don't realize this. It's practice for a reason. You don't get it the first time a lot of times. You don't get it the first time a lot of times.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What was it like when you first started your practice?
Um, I'll give a very short background. Sorry. So I remember I took up yoga in 2017. And for me, yoga was not something that I'd even imagined. It's something that you like used to watch on movies, and you're like, oh, that looks fancy. It looks nice. It was just a broad concept that had not even explored until I got into a very dark place at that particular time because of work. Depression kicked in, and one of my friends was like, I need us to go somewhere. What are you doing on Saturday morning? And then I was like, okay, I'm usually sleeping on Saturday morning. I mean, there's nowhere to go or something. And they're like, okay, I'll come and pick you. We need to go somewhere on Saturday morning. We need to be there by 10. That was a yoga studio. So we went to the yoga studio. And I remember the first experience. I was like, what are people doing here? You know, like there was raw strength. People are sweating. I couldn't even barely hold a simple posture. And I was challenged. I didn't even stay in that entire class the entire time. I literally fled that practice. Um, but something interesting happened. My friend, of course, left town and he had to go out of town or anything. But the following weekend, I realized I need to go. Let me just go back there because I loved that community, that sense of community that Saturday morning. I didn't know half the things they were doing, but let me just go and see what happens. And then I went and I was like, okay, practice was a bit easy today. I wasn't struggling, I wasn't suffering. And the people are so kind and they were like, no, you need to just do this way. Just take it easy. You can take child's pose. And I'm like, oh wow, I deserve child's pose. There's always we live in a world where people like really flexing, showing the strength and everything. But that space, people are just like, it's okay. You can even line shavasana the entire time. It's perfectly fine. You're not competing with anybody. You're not we don't expect you to get to this level of flexibility. It's just barely your second class. And that is something that I wasn't ready to accept because sometimes we are very, I tend to think I'm very competitive. I'm definitely not a type A personality, but I like to think I'm very competitive. I've tried to get a lot of achievement, under my badge. But
I
that is
get that.
one, yeah. The mat is the one moment I was humbled. And I realized it's a good thing. It's not entirely a bad thing to be humbled in that moment. You don't know anything. And that's what gave me the, how do I put it, the push to learn. I said, I want to I like the feeling anytime I leave this space. I always feel like I'm no longer focusing so much on my problems or what I was going through. And I kept going back and I kept going back. And the more I went back, the more you're mastering postures. As you kept going back, you're making friends, a new community, a completely new set of family, who because I know my family didn't understand what I was going through back then.
Yeah.
And yeah, and with time I was just like, it became a practice. I think after 2 solid years, I was like, okay, I feel very good. I'm at a great place. I need to go advance my practice. And you look at the map and you're like, where did yoga originate from? India. I want to go to India. I'm going to it was wild. It was wild. And I was just like, how do I go to India? So I checked where's the best place to go in India. And I was like, okay, Himalayas, I'm going there. So what do I need to do? And interesting enough, sometimes when you decide to do something, of course, the universe reorganizes itself to make it happen. I found myself in India in when was it? I think it was 2019. in January. Very cold. It was very cold. I think it was around winter, around India. And I was on a budget because I needed to, like, I'm not making much, but I need to just do this.
Right.
Yeah. And that was, I think, one of the best experiences. I didn't like it because training, sometimes you go to India, you think after 2 years you've learned something,
Yeah.
and then they just tell you you know nothing, and it's okay. It's okay because you're not trying to prove yourself to anybody. So can you be a student and forget all that you know?
It's
And
that.
I was like, but I've been practicing. I can do like headstands and stuff. It's like, no, that is not yoga. Do you know how to breathe? Do you know how to sit down in stillness? Do you know how to like meditate? Like those basic things, and you're like, I thought yoga was the postures. Like, no, that's acrobatics without the basics like breathing, those other essence that is the yoga practice.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So um and I think one thing I picked from that Indian experience is like I'm forever a student because
Yes.
you're always learning, and it's okay. There's humility in being a student. It's not a bad thing.
It's
um
important
it's important. It's important.
to
Very
always be
important.
teachable and be a student. Always.
Absolutely. Always. Always. Yeah.
And I tell them too, please tell them the importance of the breath.
Mm.
I look, almost every time I come alive, I know they get sick of it,
Yeah.
but I cannot impress upon people more the importance of the breath. Can you please expand
It,
upon that?
it's your breath is your most powerful tool. And let me put it in context. um just through your breath you can like heal a lot of things. Most people don't understand that. And breath is literally a whole. Yoga has about 8 things that you follow, and breath is like very primal, like as one of them. And there's a whole. I mean, I remember when we were in India, we used to go to class. The breath, I used to dread the breath class because it used to be very early in the morning. I've just woken up. It was around this time when I'm doing like the interview with Dana. And I was like, oh my God, here we go for that crazy breath class again. And I'm like, it didn't make sense then because you are under training. But the moment you come out after 30 days, you realize that, wait a minute, there's like a whole difference in how I'm taking in my breath. There's a bit of awareness is how breath comes in through the nose, goes through the chest, hits the center of the body or the pit of the belly, and now they always say when you're a yoga person, you need to start breathing like an opera singer who
Yeah.
like it comes all the way from the belly. So you are literally using your entire respiratory tract. And if you master your breath, you've done like literally, I would say 3/4% of what is yoga practice because the postures get easier. That's for sure. You would be struggling because you're not fighting with your breath. Uh, and breath actually gives you that calming effect. You are able just to like relax. And I liked what you were doing at the beginning because I joined the live when you just actually say, let's take a deep breath in. And as you take that deep breath in, you want to inhale
And hold it.
it go all the way to the belly, and then let it feel that exhale coming all the way from the belly. And your breath has to be, the exhale has to be super long because if you can extend your breath, you can extend your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is the one thing that, if you forget everything I say here, just say that I'm going to purpose to work on my breath as I get into the new year. And there are very many practices just that, geared to help you master the breath. It's very important. It's very important.
And like I studied Reiki. I
Yeah.
studied what was the other I studied Reiki, I studied energy healing, quantum touch, and somehow along the way I combined them. Don't ask me how. But as I combine them, when I do the healing work,
Yeah.
the breath work increases the capability of the energy
Absolutely.
that moves through the body, that extends out to whomever the work is going to. And you
Exactly.
can feel the heat of it. My whole body starts perspiring.
Yeah.
and I can feel the heat come out of my hands. The
And that
breath
just
is
it,
everything.
it's everything. It's very powerful, and you always want to make sure that make it an intention every day that you want to just, because most people when we breathe, it stops
Short.
there. Then
Yeah.
you see people telling you do those exercises, inhale. No, it has to be very, like, when you if you're lying down or something, it's very easy. You can just lie down, put your right hand on your belly, left hand on your chest, take a deep breath in as if you're blowing into a balloon. You'll feel like your belly is rising, and that's like the full length of the breath, and then the belly falls when you exhale. So that's how you want to breathe. Find that breath going all the way to the belly, because that's how you actually also work the entire respiratory tract, and that comes with a lot of benefits, as Dana is just pointing out. Because first of all, you breathe, your breathing gets better. You tend to be calmer, because when you focus on your breath, it also has a nice calming effect. And then it just makes you, and that's what they always tell you when you're like anxious or anything, can you take a few breaths? But
Yeah.
most people don't know how do we take the breaths. So it's totally very important to do that.
I tell them it lowers your blood pressure. It makes you less anxious.
Yes,
It helps people, slow up panic attacks, have fewer heart attacks. I mean,
then
your blood cells are trying to pick up oxygen to
absolutely
oxygenate your blood and help your heart and everything else. If you're short breathing, you're not getting enough oxygen and you're getting more carbon dioxide in your body.
100%. Hey Virginia, how you doing? Yeah,
So
100%.
people,
Yes, yeah, it's a whole thing, and we breathe and breathe it very well. And I remember my teacher used to say, yes, you may be doing all these fancy postures, but if you don't have the breath, you're just doing gymnastics. For me, that is not yoga. That is
yeah.
just you doing things.
And the
And it's
other,
very,
go
yeah.
ahead.
No, carry on, it's fine.
I've noticed when I do yoga or plyo even, if I'm trying to do a pose and I can't get my leg to go further or something. If I do a breath, right,
Mm.
I can get it to go a little further.
Exactly, expand. and
Yeah.
it goes. Yeah, it's always very, and I like it, especially reading like yoga twists. And I always tell a student, relax, take a deep breath in, find that twist. You see, you're creating space, inhale, take the twist. So because initially they're like, no, I can't reach my foot, I can't find that twist. I'm like, no, just use your breath, because if you're able to extend your breath, you'll be able to ease into that particular posture. And that's literally the practice. But we live in a society where people, it's a fast food society. We want the results now. We want the flexibility now. And sometimes when I meet a student for the first time, they're like, okay, I need to be able to do this, this, this. They have a whole laundry list of postures that they need to do. And I'm like, you do know this is going to take a while. So they start yoga. Some give up, I think, after the second class, because they realize, okay, this work was not as easy as I thought. I'm not going to get these fancy Instagram postures today, because
Yeah.
there's something better. So then some people drop along the way, and they always like apologize. I'm like, no, no, it's perfectly fine. I've literally been practicing for nearly 7 years, and most people don't have the patience to practice that long. My teachers, like, I have teachers who have like experience of over 15 years of yoga practice, you know. So you're literally looking at, it's very, how do I put it? Yoga practice is very incremental. You won't get the results tomorrow. You have to be very patient through the process. Just the way Dana was saying earlier, you have to trust that particular process. It's not exactly pretty, it's not comfortable. There'll be a lot of days you'll be breaking down, you'll fall apart. But you fall apart so that you can come back together, and you will appreciate that journey when you look back, and you'll be like, what was that craziness? I remember my first yoga class up to date, up to date. Because I'm like, I love that baby, that not knowing, that nascent levels of practice, because they taught me that humility and how you always need to keep learning, because there's a lot of growth when you're learning as a student.
You talked about when you first started, you were feeling depressed and stuff.
Yes.
Tell me how it shifted that for you.
Um, because one of the things about feeling depressed and stuff, and we live in a society where, especially in Africa here, we don't have very we don't have like a lot of structures like the West where people. I mean, trust me, my family, they only believe in something like therapy or something like that. They wouldn't even understand when you say you're depressed because they're like, what is wrong with you? And I remember when I was trying to reach out and tell them that, I'm not okay, I'm not feeling fine, I can't leave my house, I can't do certain things, I don't speak to people. They're like, why are you not calling? I'm like, I don't want to speak to people. I'm in that bad space. There was like no support. They couldn't understand what was going on and stuff like that. But anytime I went to the yoga mat, there's something about when you're practicing yoga, your attention is literally there. You are really in the moment. So you don't even have the luxury of thinking about your problems and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, because you're like, what is warrior one? Oh my God, I'm dying. My leg is screaming. Oh my God, my hips are. Like you're totally so present in that particular moment. And I realized that, yeah, for me, the shift was in just that moment of being present. you know I'm present to this moment. I don't have control over what has happened. I don't have control on what is going to happen in the future, and it's okay because that is life. Generally, you can't control what is going to happen. You can't undo what has already been done.
Right.
And that for me was the shift, and I needed to understand that, like when I live in the present moment, life is much better, life is easier. This is a reality, and if I can focus on this particular present moment, it makes everything else. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Right.
And it's okay. I don't need to like I don't need to like overstretch myself. I can focus on one task at a time, perfect it, and then move on to the next one. That for me was the shift. So I try to live a very, it's not perfect. I mean, we are human at the end of the day, we are infallible. But I try to make sure that I live a very present life. I always want to experience the moment in that particular place. Because I always say the future is not guaranteed. You can't do
Yeah.
anything about the past. It's gone. It's gone. So, but can you make use of that present moment in your relationships, in your work, in your practice? Even as you drink like a bottle of water, are you present in that water, or you're just like, what did I drink? You have to be super present in very many things. I'm in this interview right now. I'm not multitasking. I'm not even looking at, sometimes I'm not even looking at comments. And it's okay because I'm being present in this moment for this space that Dana has given me. And trust me, try being present. It will make other things, you'll stop worrying about so many things, because half of the problems human beings face is actually caused by yourself. You worry so much about everything. Yeah. So, but when you focus on the present moment, there'll be a very huge shift. That's
If
that's my short answer.
To me, it feels better to be, like you said, in the present moment
Yeah.
because it's richer. Life is richer. Because I made a statement not long ago. When
Yeah.
is the last time when you walked outside that you appreciated or felt the air you were breathing? Like
Mm,
literally felt the air you were breathing
absolutely.
or what the ground felt like under your feet. Like
Those
when we were
moments.
kids, we felt it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or paid attention to a bush that's in your yard, what it felt like, what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
We're so busy jumping in the car, going somewhere, coming back, going in the house, plopping on the couch, being in autopilot.
Absolutely.
That's a
And then
day to keep doing this.
yeah, and I like what Virginia says. My wife does yoga. She's strong. I can't hold the poses. Yeah, she's built that strength with time. Yeah, we start off, we are always falling. Trust me. We try to balance, we are always like down. And sometimes I put up a video and they're like, oh my God, that is amazing balance. And I'm like, do you know what it took to get there?
uh, Keela
If I was
Kikubi says, does that mean multitasking is not good?
Um, it may be controversial, but I'm horrible at multitasking, and Kila Kit, me, Malkia, welcome to the live stream. Malkia, me. I always say, guys, I can't multitask. Can you like one thing at a time? I need to focus on this, because sometimes when you're trying to do, I know multitasking is a very key skill, especially in the corporate, in the corporate like space. But in yoga practice, you'll be told multitasking is going to ruin your practice because you need to be present. What are we doing now? We need to find balance in this particular posture. You can't be, and that's why they always tell you when you're present, I can't be doing warrior one, or I can't be doing a dancer's pose. Dancer's pose is that balancing posture. I can't be doing dancer's pose and I'm more like, what am I going to eat for dinner? You will fall out of the posture because your
Yeah.
mind has totally shifted
Right.
instantly, instantly. So they always say, and I remember this one you were taught. I went for some meditation training in Thailand, and the monks, and they were teaching that aspect of being present in that moment. They said you can focus on one thing and achieve perfection in it, and then you move on to the other one. Because when you multitask, sometimes you're not giving you 100% on that particular thing. I'm like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. But you can finish it real quick, get perfection there, move on to the next one. You can actually prioritize, you can segment it. So for me, I always feel it may be controversial, but I always feel, I mean, before I used to be like, yes, I can multitask. I used to throw it in my resume and everything. Nowadays, I'm like, no, I can't, and I can't multitask because I need to focus on one thing, perfect it, and then move on to the next one. And it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It may be a different experience to somebody else, but in yoga practice, sometimes you want to perfect this one, move on to the next one.
I found when I multitask, I I only give about 80%.
Yeah,
Something's lacking somewhere.
exactly, exactly.
Did you find that when you got more into yoga, that it made you a more spiritual person?
Yes, 100%. And spirituality can come in a lot of forms.
Yeah.
It actually, because I remember it's the physical, it's the cool postures, the Instagram friendly postures that got me into yoga practice. But then when you get into yoga, now when you actually start going deeper into the practice, you realize that, oh, wait, it's not about the postures anymore. I have to you start uncovering things. You have to read. They tell you have to stick to certain precepts. Like they may not even entirely be, I mean, they may be agreeable, I think, across all the religions. You need to practice non-stealing. And non-stealing can even be stealing from yourself. You need to practice truthfulness. You need to practice non-violence. Those are not very, they're not very they sound like very easy concepts, but when they tell you that, for you to be actually doing a yoga practice, you need to look at some of these things and how you relate with people in the society. So you naturally become a mindful person. And mindfulness now, the moment you start practicing mindfulness, that being present, even the speech, you have to also monitor how you speak to people, because your speech can ruin somebody's life. Just
Yeah.
one mistake. So you have to be very careful on what you say. And if you don't have anything to say, probably just be quiet, because you may say one thing and it discourages somebody in their life. Yes, I've realized. Yeah, so you lean more into the spiritual bits. The Indians don't even hide it for you. They will tell you, okay, you need to go for the mantras. You need to start chanting mantras. You need to go into this particular space because there's a way they'll elevate your meditation. You need to practice that one. But I know in the West, we teach yoga in such a way that it is friendly. Don't rock the boat. We
Yeah.
don't want the spiritual bit. We don't want those spiritual bits. Get us the practice. Get us the
Woke.
physical. Yeah, yes, exactly that stuff. But the origin of yoga, they'll be like, no, you have to practice the yoga holistically. So you have
Yeah.
to, yeah. It's not like you're trying to make you shift from being a Christian to but we're just trying to say that you need to learn it holistically, so that when you are going to teach people, you're not teaching them half-baked yoga and then you call it yoga. It has to be people have to be aware that they need to meditate. They
Right.
need to do those basic things, be mindful and stuff like that, so that they can create harmony in the society they live in. But yes, it makes you definitely a spiritual person. You lean more towards spirituality in practice.
And I also found when I say that it s- I was connected to my body because I had to be in the poses, right?
Yeah.
But I also found it brought me within myself. And when I say within myself, I guess I mean within my soul,
Hmm.
real connected to my soul. And I don't mean in a Christian way, I don't mean in a religious way. I mean, when you said you're not connected to all the stuff out there, connected to the positions and stuff, but you get connected to being within,
Yep.
connected to the moment, connected to the position, connected more to yourself.
Yeah, you look inwards more in
Yeah.
yeah, you look more inwards. And there's so much power, when you this, and that's why they always tell you things that practices such as meditation are very powerful, because when you practice them with a lot of integrity, you will discover so much about the world, about yourself, because there's always a lot of noise. And that's why they always tell you, can you just stay still and look inwards a little bit more? Just focus on you. And looking inwards is not like go sit somewhere like, oh, I'm thinking pretty things, love and light. No,
Yeah. No.
just think of it in terms of your breath. Like sometimes you just sit even for like 2 minutes and just focus on your breath. That concentration itself is one thing that you're bringing the focus more within. We tend to seek a lot of validation from external things.
Right.
Some people, we tend to think there's happiness in external things, and that's why they always tell you, even when you practice yoga, you learn to practice austerity. You realize that this is just stuff. You're just getting stuff, but you're not. That's not happiness. You're not going to be happy by accumulating stuff. Yeah,
No.
but your happiness has to come from within. It has to be the feeling. Like that thing you don't tell people when you're like alone in your house just before you sleep.
Yeah.
That that reality, that truth, forget about what you show the world, but there's that moment you normally sit in your house and you're like, this is my reality. um it
Yeah.
makes you like it makes you focus more on that, because we tend to seek happiness from external sources, but when you focus on within, you can generate that happiness from within. And you're just
That's
like,
what I'm talking about. Yep.
I'll just become a more content person, a more intentional person. You'll realize that I shouldn't even be fight. There's some wars you don't even need to be you don't need to be participate in every argument you're invited to. You can choose to walk away. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean you're weak. Sometimes being the bigger person, can be like, hey, if that is what weakness looks like, do it, because you're looking at preserving your inner peace. And that's why the concept of inner peace comes in. When you have inner peace within, yeah, half of the things that trouble people won't bother you, because most people look for that peace from external sources.
Inner
A very,
peace is the happiness.
absolutely, it is the happiness, because when you're at peace with yourself, you're happy as a person.
Yeah.
You're happy as a
I mean, I,
person.
I found it putting me in that mindset because I was trying to hold a position. I was focused within,
Yeah,
right? I was looking at exactly what you said, and it was putting me, how deep can I go?
yeah.
How deep can I go? How strong can I be? Where do I want to be? Who do I want to be?
Hmm.
Because it takes a lot of strength to be who you want to be and to
Exactly.
represent and to have the strength to fight against the tide, to fight against the negativity, to not engage.
So it takes a lot of mental work, willpower, inner work. Let me put it as inner work. There's a lot of inner work involved, and we don't like asking ourselves those questions. The ones we just like asked. We don't like those questions, because sometimes when you start asking yourself those questions, you're like, okay, this is too real. It becomes too real. And sometimes it's okay to face that too real, because that is your inner essence, that is your inner being. We call
Yeah.
it self, we call it inquiry. That self-inquiry is very important as a person. Ask yourself those hard questions, because out of those hard questions, you'll be able to find the real answer on what you need to do. What assignments or what divine instructions that you need in your life at that particular point. Hey Guru, how you doing? How you doing, Guru?
Hey,
That
Guru.
was our connector. That was our connector, guys.
Yeah, he is our connector.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll put it that way. I'll just put it that way, in a very simple way.
But I want to know too. I mean, what led you to going to the Olympics with this?
Oh yeah, the Olympics was yoga is not there's still controversial. Yoga is not classified as a sport in most spaces.
Which is
Um,
crazy.
yeah. So
It's not
because no, the Indians will be like, no, why are you calling this a sport? This is not a sport. This is a practice. And I kind of agree with them, because even when I got that silver medal, to some extent, I felt some type of way. I was like, I don't like showing. I like, and my students will tell you that I'm very. I could never demonstrate a posture if you are even to tell me to do that in a public setting, because I'll be
Yeah.
like, I'm not performing. Yoga is not a performance for me. Yoga for me is a very deep practice, and so when the International Yoga Olympics Committee reached out to me and told me that we love this, we love what you're doing on the channel. We want you to do for us a flow in terms of the Olympics, and we are going to like assess it and see what to like how you know what. I didn't even expect the medal because the person who got the gold medal is my teacher. Like all the medalists are my yoga teachers here in Kenya. So there was like a lot of like you still like, oh my god, my teacher, they've been practicing for all these years, they're getting a gold medal, and here I am with them in the
Yeah.
same. Yeah, it felt some type of way because I really respect my teachers up to date. I never feel like I'm worth even to breathe their air because they've done like a lot of years in practice, and I'm humble. I'm humble next to them because they taught me all I needed to know. So being in them, like they're gold medalists and I'm a silver medalist, and they were like, "Oh, congratulations, welcome to the club," and stuff like. But I'm in my head, I'm like, I don't think I belong here. I don't think I belong here. You guys are my teachers. Like this is for somebody else. But as we were saying earlier, sometimes it's okay to accept, some of these when you're fitted because it means like they're recognizing the work and the efforts you've put in.
Right.
Um, yeah. So it's I mean I did accept their word. It's very good because it profiles the Yoga with Goga brand as well. It puts it on a different level. It was great for business. Got in some nice corporate assignments as a result of that award. But you always sometimes I feel sometimes I fear expansion, and I've refused. Like there are people want me to be on the media. I've like declined several times because sometimes I'm like, no, I feel it will change something because I don't like I don't like this is something I'm very hesitant with that publicity because I feel it will take me away from the practice, and I want to guard that jealously. You've seen the stories of gurus, the yoga gurus, and how they just deviated completely from the practice
Yeah.
and what. So I think it's a kind of fear or something like that.
But listen,
Um,
it's their ego that did it. If your
yeah,
ego doesn't change, it's not going to take you away from it. Their ego got inflated and it
yeah,
took them away from it. It's all about who you are at your core and
I love that.
the decisions you make. So I don't get the sense or the fear that that would occur with you.
Sorry, I'm just trying to fix the lights here. Yeah, I mean it's always I've been very hesitant, but it's something I'm a work in progress. I'm trying to warm up to the idea because I know I have conversations with people every day. They're like, oh, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. But deep down, I always say sometimes again when you go back to listening within. So I think if the inner voice tells me, okay, you're ready for this, then I will do it.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
always, 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 always listen to your gut instinct
yeah.
because
That's
it will never lead you astray.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, okay, let me see what people are saying. Goga, how is your mother doing these days? Okay, hold on. And then I have learned mindfulness in my speech when I talk about the business, which I have learned over time. Yeah, it's very important when you have a mindful speech. Um, it goes back. There's integrity. There's integrity. People will actually trust your word because you're very when you're mindful, you are very deliberate about even your actions, so you can be trusted. You create that trust and integrity over time. So it's always very important to practice mindfulness and think of mindfulness in this aspect. Think of mindfulness sometimes in mind. The mind can be full. The mind is full, and then there's mindful. Look at even though
Yes.
I'm saying it. Yeah. So there's mindful, the two L's, and then there's
Yeah.
the mind. And mindfulness is just the concept of being present in everything that is happening around you, like what Dana was talking about. Can you feel like the space you are in, the
Yeah.
ground you're walking on, the breeze against your skin, the sounds outside my house right now? I can feel the birds already chirping because it is morning. So you need to be like that is like literally an aspect of mindfulness. Mindfulness is also like, think of it is like, if I say this, you think of the repercussions of what you're going to say.
Right.
like you've already thought about it. Like, if I say this to Dana, how it's okay, how can this be interpreted? Most people don't. People say like, oh no, I just like keeping it real. No, no, no. Sometimes keeping it real, you may end up causing a war. So
Right.
sometimes you have to think.
And
Sometimes,
sometimes you have to think about, how does it benefit you to say this? How does it
yes,
benefit that person? Is it
exactly,
kind? Is it caring? Is it supportive? Is it helpful
absolutely.
to you
So
or them? And if it's not, don't say it.
absolutely, don't, and you will know because deep down that inner, if you practice for a while, you'll always get that inner voice that will tell you, oh, this is not a bad, this is definitely not a good idea, and
No.
like, yeah, you'll definitely like, this is not a good idea. So mindfulness has to be also, you look at it in terms of the repercussions it will have on your actions. So mindfulness is also, think of mindfulness as taking charge of your own actions and
Yeah.
the implications in the society that you live in. Yeah.
Because I mean, these days, there's too many people trying to keep it real,
Mm-hmm.
and hurting people are causing a domino effect of pain.
Absolutely.
And
So
we
it's
need to back that truck up and be more mindful and caring of people, even that we don't know.
absolutely 100%.
I mean, there's a
And
lot of people out on the streets, or even homeless, right? That the public ignores,
mm,
that they don't even treat like human beings. And that needs to change.
it needs to 100%, 100%,
They need to
100%.
look at people like, I see you, you matter, and change the wave of things. I
Yeah.
don't like where most of the world's going right now.
Yeah, it's very, yeah, the world is wild at the moment, or to
Yeah.
put it, yeah, in a poetic way. Hey James, how you doing? Yeah, Guru
Okay.
says we have to be real. It shows if you're acting. Yes, and you can only act for so long because I tell you, masks. Sometimes we wear masks. There's a mask you show the society, and then there's that now mask you can't even, you have to like drop it down when you finally come into when you're like relaxing, just easing into sleep, when you're just thinking about your day and everything, you're no longer putting on a mask. It's literally the real essence. So yeah, this is what I showed the world, but this is the reality I'm dealing with at the moment. And people have a lot of things they're dealing with in this society.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's always like it's always true. Like, it's very true what Guru is saying, that sometimes when you really don't even have to now worry about it, because it shows when you're acting. There's only just so much acting you can do. Even actors, they stop acting at some point and go back to their real lives.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's true.
I
uh,
have a hard time. I have a hard time wearing a mask. I wear, like, if I have to teach a student, right? It's
mm,
still me. I just limit some things that I say,
yes,
because
and that's,
I wouldn't act like I do with my family, because some of
it's,
it's not okay.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that may not even be a mask entirely, then because it may be you are in a different space. You actually may be, and we have different lives. You have your profession, you have your social relationships, you have your mind that you have to deal with. So I think it's just how you approach different circumstances in life, and you have to handle them differently. It may not even necessarily be a mask, because sometimes when I mean, even if you're not having a mask, as a teacher, you need to be firm in a way. Otherwise, there's a way you can be gently firm. You're not like screaming or anything, but there's a way you'll be definitely very firm, because in that moment you're actually imparting knowledge, and sometimes you have to impart knowledge in a particular way, for it to be assimilated.
Yeah.
When you're with your family, there's a certain way of course, that these are our relationships. There's a certain way you relate with members of your family. There's a certain way you relate maybe to your child or something like that. There's a
Yeah.
certain way you relate to your distant relative. It's just, it may not necessarily be a must, but it may just be how, just how the relationships are, and how, we connect to them and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
It's still
Yeah,
me with my student.
absolutely.
I just can't say, well, that's a dumb thing to do.
No, you can't say that. Yeah, you
Like I would.
again, you will make the student forever imagine that they're bad at what they are doing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they'll be like, I'll never be good at if the teacher thinks I'm dumb. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll forever imagine them. Like, that saying where they say that if you judge the fish by its ability to climb the tree,
Yeah.
the fish can, yeah. You forever live its life thinking that it's stupid, but it's not. A fish can't climb a tree. It's not its
Yeah.
environment. Yeah. So yeah,
But in generally speaking, I felt like a long time ago we were talking. I had a class, and I made them have a goal of being their authentic self for
yeah.
24 hours with
Ooh,
wearing no mask.
how did it go?
They said it was very difficult.
It is it is because, yeah, and it's just how society has wired us that we have to put on these masks just to be able to, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Tell me about, yes, I stalked your Instagram
yeah,
and I saw you doing public speaking
yeah,
for different things.
yes.
So
Oh
tell me
yeah, you
about
said this.
some of
Oh
that.
yeah, that mostly is anytime you see me doing something that not yoga related is mostly based on my profession because I'm a trained policy expert. I only call myself expert. Let me call myself specialist. So I'm trained in research and policy, and sometimes I get to be in spaces where I have to talk about these things, articulate myself on a political or policy issue. Um, yeah, so that's why I always find myself in those spaces where I'm doing like public speaking. It's
For
not
somebody
easy.
that's shy.
Yeah, I know, but trust me, it's interesting. And that's why I say even things like YouTube really make you grow because
Hmm.
trust me, I come on YouTube on Wednesdays and people are always like, "You're so wild," but when you meet you in person, you're very quiet. I'm like, I don't know what that space does to me. There's just a way it makes me more expressive. I feel so alive, and when I see all you people from across the world and connecting with you guys, before I go back to my reality, and I'm like, okay, now I have to look at policy documents. I have to like be very, the serious stuff, the boring stuff, the boring stuff, the boring stuff. So yeah. So I have I mean, as you're saying about masks, it's not a mask per se, but it's my profession. I am a yoga teacher, yes, certified and trained. I'm a policy expert. I'm a technology policy professional. So these are like phases of my life that I have to deal with when I wake up. Like now, in the next 30 minutes, I have to leave and go do the policy work. Public because I've worked in public service for so long as well. Most people don't know that. I've worked in public service for nearly, I think I'm on my 15th year next year. I think it's been 14 years now. Yeah.
No way, because you look like a
Yeah.
kid. You look young, young, young.
Yeah, no, I've been in public service for like 14 years. I'm actually probably considered I need to actually retire right about now. So these are like different spaces. So and when I'm in that space, I will definitely not be yoga stuff. It will be like, oh, what are we discussing? What is a policy issue? How can we make this easy for the citizen? So the conversation changes completely. When I come to yoga, when I come to YouTube, I'll scream here, oh my god, hi Dana, how you doing? Nice to see you. When you go to this other space, you're like, take a deep breath in, bow forward. So people are always like, what's going
Do
on?
do they know you do this?
Um, well, my colleagues, the ones who follow the channel, definitely they know. But yeah, I'm very vocal about my yoga practice everywhere. So I think it's become an extension of me. So even my work now knows about my yoga life.
Okay.
Um, yeah, my yoga people may not know about my work life, but the other guys know. They're like, okay, he's always preaching yoga, he's always doing yoga, he always has a yoga mat in the office, he has a yoga mat, I don't know where. You tend to, I'm always accused of accumulating mats because I tend to have a yoga mat in the office. You may never know. You may need to drop by a studio. So so it's always,
Let me ask you this. If your channel,
yeah.
okay, take it back. When your channel,
Mm-hmm.
when, when it gets to 200,000 and up subscribers,
Ooh.
would you stop your other job?
I don't know. I've actually been contemplating. I literally left my job for like a year. I just got back last week actually. Um, I wanted that moment to just go reflect and see what I want to do. I've actually explored taking yoga full time because sometimes you have a lot of demands, and I feel I'm happier actually in this particular space. The corporate thing, I've gone to school, I've gotten all those qualifications, but sometimes I'm just like, no, this is not it. This is not it. This is not it. And
Talking about
uh,
corporate. Talking about corporate.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, it's not as fulfilling as this other yoga side because I feel more alive in this other space. And so I'm even now trying to curate my life around making this grow in such a way that it can be a standalone thing, and then I can definitely branch full time. The channel, I wouldn't say, I don't even feel I put so much effort on the channel, to be honest. I feel the channel is good for connections and community, and putting the work out there. But I get more fulfillment while teaching. It is the community classes that I teach, that no one pays for it, but they enjoy and feel so good after the practice. That difference, like you make someone feel after a yoga class. It is the first experience I got on my first yoga class, and
Yeah.
to imagine that now I'm making people feel that good, I'm like, I could actually do this. But there's also the risk of burnout, so I'm also trying to also look at that. Um,
But listen, YouTube soon is going to make it possible where we can teach online, right?
hmm.
And you would be able to teach classes live online where people can pay for it.
That it's an idea. It's definitely something. I mean, I'm open to for sure. I like how you're provoking me to think that way. And I like that. I always love that because it makes me like start thinking, yeah, on a broader level. Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll
I
see.
would be signing up. I would be like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally open to it because yeah, so I'm just trying to work around that because like, how do I make this a standalone thing that if I was to consider, live in the corporate world and get into the yoga space,
are
you
you
know.
going to take that away from me?
Sorry, what did you say?
Are you going to take that capability to learn from you away from me?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
If you
I feel
if you don't do that live on here, you will be taking that away from me.
no, not at all, not at all. And that's why I have to show up every Monday and Friday for you guys.
Yeah.
But as the channel grows, we'll see, we'll see. But I'm not going to take it away from you because it's still a great space. I've met amazing people in this space. I'm definitely not. Don't worry, I'm here. I'm going to be here for a while. I'm here for a while. That's what everybody's always scared of. It's like, what if you leave YouTube? If you say you're going to live an ascetic life away from social media and everything, and I'm like, guys, relax. We'll worry about it when that happens and
I'm
stuff.
talking about teaching those live classes on YouTube when they open that format up.
No, I will actually no. That one I will tap into it. I'm sure there'll be a structure. I will definitely. I'm always more than happy to share that.
I'm going to
Uh,
teach some live classes. Hmm.
I will join your class as well. I mean, I
Cool.
mean. Oh my goodness,
I
man.
I like you so much.
I love this. I was so like starting. I'm like, okay, I've never done this before, but and I was telling my people that guys, I have to be at an interview with Dana in the morning. And they're like, who is Dana? And I was like sharing, okay, here's the link, you can check her out. She does this thing, she's in the space of wellness and everything. Yeah, there's where I will be in the morning. So it's nice that I've seen Malkia here and Killer Kid, like they were
Look,
all there.
I'm a psychotherapist with a slant. Um, by the way, everybody that's watching and everybody that will watch on the replay gang, please make sure that you go like and subscribe and share um, Yoga with Goga.
Appreciate
That could,
that.
that could not have rhymed better. And I'm going to put the link under the video as well. But Yoga with Goga, that is crazy how much that rhymes. But
I,
I watch your videos. I mean, I literally will sit back and watch because you're beautiful when you're doing it.
oh, It looks nice.
It looks so artistic. The poses and the smoothness and the background, and when you're telling people what to do. Now, I've heard some people say, do this move next. No, there's such a eloquent flow when you're telling people the next move to do that I literally can sit back and watch. And I've watched some yoga. You there? Are you frozen? Oh no. Maybe he'll redo in a second. I hope you heard what I said. I froze him with happiness. Maybe he'll come back. I know he has to work soon or go do his thing. I don't know about you guys, but I'm loving him. Oh no. Are people still in the chat watching? He is wonderful. Hi, Virginia Wolf. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Keely Katubima. Hi, Shay. No worries. He is just wonderful to me. Wonderful guest, wonderful story, so much humility, so much humbleness. Welcome to the channel, by the way, Keely Katubima. I hope I am not butchering your name. Is that the way to say it? Keely Katubima. Hopefully he'll pop back in before he has to go. I knew he was a wonderful guy. This is the first time we've actually spoken live and voice to voice. But the fact that he made the time to get up so early to come on here, I hope. Hi, Malkia Nutrition. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The fact that you got so early to come here is wonderful.
Sorry about it. I think I had an internet problem, but yeah, sorry.
I was just giving you so many compliments, and you froze.
Oh, I'll replay them for sure. Not compliments. Yeah. I always ask anytime I drop off
But
like from my own live, I'm always asking people, guys, how much damage did the co-host do? So so how much
I think I
how
think
much
I
did
was
Anna do
throwing.
like when I was
I think I was throwing. I think I was throwing you so many compliments. Your whole thing just went. Whoop! Can't take it. Cannot take it.
no, thank you so much. I really appreciate
But
I really
you,
appreciate that and it's sorry. Go ahead.
I have a thing for good humans,
Yeah.
and my channel
You're
is
also a
all
very
about
you're
what?
also a very good human. And I said the first, like when you go into these panels and then the first impression you get, I felt very welcomed when I walked in. I was just like, oh, she's nice. She's actually very, like when you're speaking on Instagram, setting things up, you don't have that advantage of the back and forth. But I actually feel like I feel very welcomed in this space, and it also shows how you are as a person. Because I can feel the energy. It's actually very welcoming, and you're actually genuine. You mean what you say, which is it's a superpower. It's a superpower. Um, and then Virginia says, maybe I will try yoga again because of this. Thank you for inspiring me. Whoa, our work is done, Dana. Our work is done. Virginia is going back to yoga.
Yeah, Virginia's a guy, and you've made me want to try again too, even with
Yeah.
my issues. Um, can you recommend? Sometimes we look when I when I go to my analytics.
Yeah.
There's people all over the world you wouldn't believe that watch the channel in the bushes. Okay,
The bush.
and they are from 16 to 70,
Ooh.
wide age range. Um, but a lot of people have trouble where it's hard for them maybe to get out of a chair.
Mm.
Have you got any recommendations, things people can do if they're chair bound?
Yeah, I've actually, and I like the fact you're asking that because I've been getting a lot of that, especially even from the older guys, because they're like, can we have like yoga that we can do on, this chair yoga is actually a thing, by the way. So they
Oh,
actually want, yeah, chair yoga is a whole thing that, that how do you make, and I picked this from, how do you make yoga more adaptive to people who are even confined to their chairs? Can somebody who is differently able do yoga? And I'm like, yes, the answer is yes, because I remember when I was in India, when I went for my second training in India, courtesy of the government of India, they gave me a scholarship for that. So I remember when I had to like do my final report, they wanted you to come up with an idea on how will you make yoga more inclusive. And I remember I talked about adaptive yoga. How do you make yoga adaptive, especially to people who are confined to their chairs? The people can't move, but they can do stretches. You can lift a hand and you can
yeah,
stretch the side, and that is still yoga practice. So yes, it's something that I'm actually seriously considering, because there's a lot of conversation, especially this year, I've been getting from people. It's like, can you like do yoga like for us older people? There are people who are talking about that, and I'm like, this is something I think I actually want to consider in the new year, so that we can have episodes where we do something more adaptive, and it's like a short class seated on a chair that people feel like they've stretched and they feel like, okay, I was sitting in my couch, but I did yoga with you. Because people make fun of that on the premieres. When they come for my premiere, they're like, I'm just here watching you and I'm eating and I'm judging myself. And I'm like, yeah, you're busy stretching here. I am like just eating. I'm like, okay, Goga, you don't need to make me feel bad about my life. So I need to actually thinking about, I'm actually thinking more of that, making yoga more adaptive even for people at home, because they may
yeah,
be watching me. But if I tell Malkia or I tell Shelly or Shay to stretch, Shelly can be seated there, but she's like, yeah, take a side bet. You can do this. I'm even seated on a couch right now, and you can just do that. And you keep twisting and you're stretching the side of the body. Very good for the intercostal muscles. You've done that stretch. Countered it by doing the other side. Just like that, you've already stretched the body. Maybe find a fold, stretch the back. Those are things I'm actually considering, just to be able to make it more inclusive for the guys who can't do the splits, which I'm still struggling with, but getting there,
yeah.
getting there.
I do say every night when I go to bed,
Yeah.
I'll take my legs and pull them up behind me to
Yes.
stretch on both
Very
sides.
good.
And I do when I wake up in the morning. I will do yoga poses in the bed when I wake up,
Yeah.
like the first thing when I wake up.
It's
So,
important.
and I do like little stretches. If I'm in the kitchen, I'll do like yoga stretches against the counters and stuff. I just haven't been doing regular yoga practice.
Yeah. And it's so simple, because I like what you're saying when you do it in the morning. Like, think of when people wake, even animals. Look at a dog in the morning. Why do you think we say downward facing dog? The dog is always stretching, doing downward, like that yoga pose. And that's why it was named after the dog, because anytime the dog wakes up, it stretches fast before it starts like scrolling, walking around like it owns the place. Even
Yeah,
a cat, when a cat gets angry, it puffs itself up like a ball. That's a very good stretch on the spine, because you're doing like, you're rounding the spine like that before you release it. Tigers, lions, they all do that particular stretch before they go about their day, just to activate their entire selves. And then now they are like, okay, what are we going to hunt today? What are we going to eat? So if animals are figuring out yoga in their own way, I don't know, animal yoga. That's just an idea that just came here. Yeah. So if animals, if animals are like doing yoga in that basic sense, you could be seated on a chair. I can just cross my leg like this. This is a yoga pose right here. I'm just crossing my leg and I'm stretching my hips just by pushing it down like that. That's a yoga pose right there. And
yeah,
sometimes you find the hips are very like stiff and stuff, and that becomes like a yoga posture. So it's very important to always stretch, and I like the fact that you do it even before you sleep or even when you wake up. Just those basic stretches. The wrists. Sometimes the wrists get stiff. You can just be making circles with your wrists, something like that. That is actually very good. You can do a neck stretch. You can just drop your head here, stretch the side of the neck, come back to center, stretch the side. Because we hide a lot of tension sometimes on the neck muscles. So sometimes you want to like do that. You can even make circles with your head, very simple things, clockwise and clockwise, just to stretch the neck. You can stretch the eyes. Eyes can also be, you can also like work the eye muscles. You can look up, down, okay, without turning your head. Because students always show me things in the class. I'm always laughing half the time. I'm like, huh. No, I'm like, no, not the head, the eyes. Just take the eyes up, down. Even the eye roll, the side eye you can give people from the side. You're stretching the eye muscles. And then you can even make circles with your eyes. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I remember when I used to like really depend a lot on my glasses. But I remember when I think I came back from training, just because of the eye exercises we used to do every day for the 30 days you were there. I came back and my eyes were really like, it was so optimal. Like I was like, wow, this stuff really works. This stuff really works. So
Hey,
there's a lot.
what about the face yoga these ladies do?
The what?
You know how these women will do face yoga so they don't age?
Tell me about face yoga. You're going to start a whole movement here.
I don't
People,
know. I see it.
people.
These ladies do face yoga and do all the stuff with their faces so they don't age.
Okay, I need to check that. I need to check that one out. Yeah,
Yeah,
but anyway, you can stretch the face. You can make an ugly face. You can. There are muscles here. That we
yeah.
have muscles literally everywhere, so you can be stretching these muscles.
Because I'm
Um.
103.
Ooh,
Yeah.
like this.
No,
Do you practice face yoga? You look pretty young.
I just said I'm 103.
That's what I'm like wondering. No, I'm waiting. Years or what years? Which
I'm
years?
103 years old.
Where? Like in what planet?
Just
Like.
playing it.
I'm like, do you mean Earth years or something? It's like, what years? Which planet? Which universe? You're not in the 103 in this universe.
I got
Look
you
at
good. You were like,
like 20. Like, huh? 103?
oh, I'm definitely not 20.
I was like, these are not Earth years. These are not Earth years.
I've got a 21-year-old daughter. I'm definitely not 20.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay, okay. You're doing pretty great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing pretty great.
I
Yeah, that's like
appreciate it.
I almost said it's almost my age, but then I was like, okay, I just turned 34, so
You did? Just when did you turn 34?
that was last month in November, on 2nd November.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah, we're getting there. I'm almost getting out of the youth bracket in my country, so
I didn't know there
forever.
was a youth bracket in your country.
Yeah, after 35, you're now moving. Okay, now you're an adult. They don't classify you as youth anymore. But at least you can run for president after that at 35. So, you
So are
know.
you going to run for president?
No, maybe no, not at all. I'm just saying, like it's one of those things where a president has to be 35 years and above. So, so
Okay.
it's a running joke. I always make, oh, next year I'll be able to run for president, guys. Yeah,
But you've visited many countries. You do public speaking. You've won a silver medal. You teach yoga. You've got college degrees. And now, and you have a really great job. You could veer off and do this whole big yoga thing and be
yeah,
very well known at it because your yoga is beautiful. What I was saying when you got cut off is I watched a lot of yoga, like watched different practices and cut it off and moved on. Yours is the first one that has attracted me artistically,
wow.
that I actually can sit and watch and I enjoy it just watching it.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you.
So, I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Someone told me, have fun. Have fun when you're doing something. People will see right through it. They'll be like, this one is enjoying themselves. And sometimes when I think of my yoga practice, and that's why, and you'll agree with me because you are also in the yoga space, that you are trained that yoga has to be your own practice. It can't be anybody's practice.
Right.
So yeah, so even how you execute certain postures, you have to bring in your best. You have to bring in your best, like, because it's your practice. And sometimes I always think of, if somebody was to watch this content, do I look like I'm suffering, or do I look like I'm actually enjoying the thing? Or
You
am I trying to sell hot air? So, that I know there are spaces I've been to, and I'm like, I also cringe at some spaces, and I'm like, no, this is not it. This is not it. Yeah. So it has to practice, has to be get into such a place that it radiates, like it becomes part of you. You become one with it, and that is the whole essence of yoga. Yoga means union. You unite the body, mind, and soul, and it looks like one thing. So it has to be very seamless. Even
I I can sense your energy when you do it. Just like you
thank
said, you could feel my energy when you came on here. I loved that you said that because I could sense your energy watching it. Like I've seen others do yoga practices trying to teach people, it feels disjointed
yeah, you can tell. You can always tell.
and it makes you sort of anxious and I have to switch it off.
That's it. It even goes to, like, when you are in a studio, you'll always know. And I always tell beginners who are starting yoga. Sometimes you may not learn much. They always say, let me tell you, in the yoga, and this is like tea. This is tea. Like, I'm telling you, this is like the gossip in the yoga circles. In the yoga circles, in case you do something, in case a student does a posture badly, they'll never blame the student. There's one thing they will ask, and they'll ask they'll throw shade, literally. Who was your teacher? They always ask, who was the teacher who taught you this? It always goes back to the person who taught you. So it's always very important to get a very good teacher also when you're starting off,
Yeah.
because I used to get a lot of injuries, and I never used to know, because I used to practice in a group setting, and the teacher is probably overwhelmed because the class is very huge, so they're not able to pay attention to whether I'm doing certain things correctly. So I used to get the soreness that drags on until the next class.
Yeah.
And yet soreness is supposed to, like, it's supposed to go after 2 days if it was a very intense practice. So I used to get a lot of injuries initially, and it took a lot of honesty and integrity for me to admit that I wasn't getting like the 100%. So you have to be very careful, like, on those initial stages, on the person who is like teaching you. It's very important. It's very important, because yeah, in the yoga circle, they'll always ask, who was your teacher? This student had a bad teacher. Don't say had a bad teacher. This student was not taught well. Yoga people speak like they don't speak bad. They don't say anything negative. They just say that this student was not well instructed. They'll put it that way. It's shade. It's very subtle shade in the yoga circles, because they'll be like,
They're judgy.
yeah, very judgy. It's very judgy, and you're like, ooh, you go for a yoga festival, and they're like, so I always tell my students, no, there is no way you can't get this posture. I mean, take your time. We don't need to achieve it today, because you will go to that yoga festival one day at the beach, and they will be like, yeah, this student was not instructed. I'm not going to take those judgy teachers, to like blame me for teaching you incorrectly and stuff.
What
Yeah,
what a mess. So they do it there too.
yeah, I know. Okay, let me see. Okay, no, we don't have any question here, right? Um,
They're sort of chatting back and forth. Anybody
I
have
like
any
I
questions
like
before he has to go?
Yeah, I like what Shelly is saying. Start easy and slow. You will enjoy. It also prepares you for tougher poses. Yes, and trust me, yoga will teach you patience. If you're not a patient person, you will learn. You will learn because you will not achieve certain postures on day one, and it's okay, because your body will tell you, then we are not ready we are not doing that stuff. We're not doing it today. No, it's not happening. Yeah, but
Yeah.
then you will accidentally discover. I used to like get so excited anytime I mastered a new posture on the mat, and I kept on looking like, guys, did you see that? And I'm like, nobody saw it. You look around, I'm like the student, no one, guys, did you see? I was able to do that. And even the teacher is like, probably like, yep, You've been practicing. What did you expect? So sometimes it's like, how do I put it? The yoga practice is very incremental in a sense that you will not get results instantly, but magic will happen when you keep showing up. You will be discovering things about your body. You're like, oh, I was able to hold chaturanga. Like, what is chaturanga? Something like that. So it's
Yeah.
very important to trust the process. Vanjita says, can you show us the first, most simple pose to try? Gladly. Gladly. Let me get my space. I need to get my mat. Let me get space here.
Okay.
Um the, Gladly, the first simple posture everybody does is called child's pose. Child's pose. Child's pose.
Oh yeah, child's poses.
You see, even Dana is getting excited about child's pose. That is what everybody does. Like, do child's pose. Let me just get my mat here so that you guys can see what child's pose looks like. Let me see. I don't know how good this is. Trying to like play around with my space. Yep, that's my mat there. So this is the first simple posture is child's pose. So you just take your knees as wide as the mat, like that, and then you just stretch forward like that, and then you drop your head down.
It feels good too.
People love this posture. Anytime you tell a student to do child's pose, they just start beaming. Like this. That is the first posture. And then the most favorite people love, it's normally the last posture in yoga. If you ever go to any yoga studio or yoga class, that will be the last posture. It's called Shavasana, where you just like lie down.
And play dead.
You're dead. It's corpse pose. You're just like there. But the trick is, you may be playing dead, but this is the hardest posture in yoga. You know why?
Why?
The mind. The mind. Because the moment people do this, some people are just like, what am I going to eat? Did my daughter like get that thing from the store? I need my phone. They didn't call me. Your mind starts racing, yet you're supposed to be relaxed. And that's why it's called the hardest posture in yoga, because the human mind, people just don't believe that they can relax and just do nothing, yeah. And sometimes it's okay to train your mind that you can just sit and do nothing and just stay there for like about 5 minutes, not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
Because that's a superpower. You're clearing your mind before you're able to deal with the chaos that is the world. So yeah, everybody loves Shavasana, the corpse pose, because you're just poof. And then even some people like making fun that I do Shavasana when I'm sleeping. No, that is sleeping. Yeah, so Virginia, you can explore child's pose, you can explore Shavasana. Another one, if you want to get your hips flexible, you can start practicing butterfly. You can be doing butterfly like this, these butterfly stretches, because this eventually will make you now be able to sit cross-legged. And as you sit cross-legged, you want your knees to go down. If it's not working, you can get a block and sit on it, because the reason why most people get pressure when they decide to sit cross-legged is because the knees are higher than the hips. But let me correct this for you right now so that you see the difference. Just getting a yoga block. So when you get a block, I can't find my other block. I think I left it in the studio. The moment you sit on a block like that, the knees can come almost on the same level as the hips. If they're
That's
too
neat.
high, you get pressure. If you sit on a block or a cushion, I can even like get more cushions. Sit on something that lifts you a bit up. You'll notice the knees are like now nearly on the same level as the hips. The moment they're here, you can stay here for very long, and it becomes very meditative and stuff. So you can start doing more of that, more of this, just to stretch those hips. And then another simple posture is the downward facing dog. Okay, the downward facing dog is not simple. It's not simple. I'm just kidding. Downward facing dog is this. You just create a V with your body like that. Most people can't get their heels down, so you'll be like this. And it's okay. You can just bend your knees slightly and then stretch like that. And then eventually you'll be able to sink them down. So these are very good stretch. You will feel it on the shoulders. It's you are upside down, so you may get a bit of a blood rush because you are remember your heart is now above your head, and you're used to having your head above your heart. So anytime your heart is above your head, if you have high blood pressure, avoid it completely because you'll feel some discomfort. So there, that is the downward facing dog. Yep. And then basic things like tree pose where you just stand on one leg. This is to test your balance. If this is too easy, you can take it above your knee like that. Let me see. Just the camera a bit. Yeah, you can take it above your knee and test yourself whether you can balance here for like 5 breaths. Some of you, the weather will be so windy, you'll be like that, but balance up, but you'll get it eventually. Then you switch sides. In yoga practice, you always want to switch sides. Never like do one side. Don't be biased on one side. You need to bring balance on both sides of the body. So you want to like try it also on the other side. So you'll notice anytime I do the right, I must do the left. It's expected because you need to balance both energies, especially on the right and the left. You notice that like sometimes you're very good at things on your right side. You can try dancer's pose. This is the one Dana was talking about. This one. These are good stretch as well, just to stretch the quads and also the shoulder. So you reach forward. It's also a test of balance. If it's too much, you can bend your knees slightly like that, and then keep kicking even higher. And then you look like a dancer or something like that. And then you do the other side as well. So you'll notice the left is very good. That is my best side of practice. You'll notice anytime I'm doing a difficult posture, I like demonstrating with the left because that's the good side. The right is a mess. Yeah. Notice if I do this on the left, I have more range. Like, look at that. It can go as high as possible. So those are some of the the intricacies when it comes to yoga poses. I hope I've answered you. Very long answer, but I hope you got it.
I think it's great. Many things to try. He says,
Yeah.
big thank you. I will try these. Will you really try these, Virginia Woolf?
Yeah. Yeah, but I know Virginia is going to love Charles pose. He's going to ask the wife, Charles pose. Charles pose. And the one where we just
Yeah, at least try those two, Virginia.
there's one posture people never forget is Charles pose. Every student remembers Charles pose for some reason. Yeah.
He
So
says, you are the greatest, Goga. You are a hero.
oh, you're most welcome. Killer Kit is asking, is hot yoga a different type of yoga or is it just the setting of the room being heated? Hot yoga, it has its own controversies because of the founder of hot yoga. He's one of the gurus that has been, he has a scandal because,
Yeah.
the ego and everything happened. But he's an amazing teacher, to be honest. He's an amazing teacher. Bikram Chaudhuri he's an amazing teacher. He's still alive, sorry. He's an amazing teacher. He took 26 postures, very nice, solid postures, yoga postures, and created a sequence out of them. But then he added one thing: let us heat the room to 40 degrees. The thing is, when you heat a room to 40 degrees, what happens? People will be sweating a lot. When you are so heated up in yoga practice, the muscles get supple very easily. So it gets easier for some reason to move certain joints and something like that. But the antagonist when it comes to hot yoga will tell you, me being one of them, you're supposed, and even Dana hinted earlier, you're supposed to generate heat with your breath. So why would I heat a room at 40 degrees, yet I can achieve the same with my breath? Okay, I won't achieve 40 degrees for sure with the breath, but I can still create heat with the breath. So you'll find that the guys who are like against hot yoga will be like, no, you're supposed to create that with your yoga breath. But the guys who love practicing in that, but it gets very uncomfortable, to be honest. It's very humid. You're not supposed to be sweating that much, and some people get very they come out of that and they like having migraines and stuff like that. So sometimes you also have to find a balance within that. That is literally the essence when it comes to the hot yoga. But they're very great postures. I love those postures. They were really well crafted. The only difference is that the room is heated to 40 degrees for people to be able to get maximum out of it.
That's Celsius that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't want to
Um,
do hot yoga. No, thank you.
yeah. No, I mean, try. I always tell people try it. At least all my students who have gone to try, they always like, let's stick to the traditional thing. This that it was so heated. I was worrying half the time whether I'm going to collapse, and I don't think yoga is supposed to feel like that. It's supposed to feel, nourishing at the end. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there are two sides. There are people who love it, but there are people like me who will tell you, no, I'm supposed to create that breath from my nose and everything like that. um yeah.
yeah. I watched a movie about all of that scandal.
Yeah, it was on Netflix. Remember, like I've watched all those. I've watched all those gurus because the guru system is a very big deal in India, because even our yoga training, my 500 hours of yoga training, I was learning under the guru system. The guru system works in this way: knowledge is passed from the master to the student, and then until the student is ready, you can't even teach. You have to master it. That is literally the whole essence of it. So the Indians still like really esteem the guru system even in their teaching. You learn from the guru. Trust me, we used to sit on the floor. We never used to have chairs. It was so hard. But there's a reason why they used to make us sit on the floor. When we came out of the training, we could all sit in lotus very perfectly. We could all cross our legs and like yogis. This is lotus pose. So you can cross your leg like this. Let me start up here. So you can cross your leg. Most people can't even do this. This is half lotus. Yeah. So when we came out of
That's how I
yoga,
sit in my chair right now.
we could all do this because we used to sit down and we had to do this particular posture. It's very hard on the ankles and everything, but we got it because of that system of just sitting down and learning from the guru. Yeah, but anyway, I digress. So you find that these gurus who have been in scandals, I like listening to their stories, because these were people who are figures. They were entrusted to teach. They've had students who have passed through them, and then they get embroiled in a scandal. As a yoga person, you have to be worried, because if these are the masters, these are the guys who are supposed to set an example, what does that mean to me as a student? Because I may be in their line, you know,
Yeah.
I may have been in their line because I practice Ashtanga yoga. Ashtanga yoga, the founding father is Patabi Joyce. So Patabi Joyce, as a student has taught a student, a student has taught a student, and that student has taught me. So I'm literally directly in his line of teaching. So if he gets embroiled in a scandal, there's a way it also affects me in a way. So you have to be very,
It's
yeah. So
like,
you have to be
who's your
very,
teacher?
yeah. So it's very crucial, guys. It's very crucial just to be able to listen to what's going on, especially in this space, because yeah, and there've been too many. And as Dana was saying earlier, probably it's driven by ego, and we yeah, it's one of those unfortunate things.
Talking about people getting judgy about who your teacher is, right?
Yeah, that's also a thing. That's also a thing in the yoga circle. Some people will ask you, how close are you to the guru who taught? Like how close, like think of it as the British royal family. How close are you to the throne? The closer you are to the throne, the closer you are to the throne, the more you are deemed to have been, But I'm like, no, there are people who are very far from the throne. They didn't even were not even taught by anybody in that lineage, and they're doing great, even better than people who like actually were in the lineage, because they figure out their own practice. Because at the end of the day, practice is not about an individual. Practice is about what you make it, what you deem as practice. Get the training, and then how do you like actually now benefit from that particular training? And yoga. The thing with yoga is not like mainstream education. You can't change anything much. You have to pass it in the traditional way it was taught, and that's why it has been able to like survive for 2,500 years, because of how it was taught. The integrity is still there. So even when you modify, people come up with their yoga things. They call it Goga yoga. No, I can't even own the yoga because it's not mine. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not mine, because people create yoga sequences and they call them the Dana yoga or something like that. Dana yoga is just that Dana got very creative in creating sequences, and you learn that as a teacher. You can get very good at creating yoga sequences that you can. Oh, I'm like, oh, this can join this can join this can join this, and it becomes like a whole dance. you know
Yeah.
but ideally these postures were there. They've been there for like years of millennia. It's just that now you got a creative way of combining them, and that's why it looks like a very beautiful sequence. But ideally, they've always been there. They've always been there.
I see your point. And when you brought up the kingdom in Britain,
Yeah.
I didn't catch it at first, but I see your point about the lineage of things. Yeah.
The lineage, it's a very hot topic in the yoga circles.
And by the way, thank you for the super sticker, Shelly Marie. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Shirley. May your pots never run dry. Thank you so much for that blessing. Um,
I just got recently monetized, so
Congratulations. When?
um, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Nice. Well done.
It
How
took
was the
me a
journey?
hot minute.
How was the journey?
Hard.
Why? What did you feel like at the end? Were you happy or were you indifferent? It's always very. I like asking YouTubers that question because.
I mean, I was happy because I had to apply 3 times
Uh-huh.
because they kept saying that I had what was it, reused content, and I didn't know what it was.
Oh yeah, that happens. So what did you like delete all your videos or did you finally figure it out?
No, because it was mainly on my shorts.
Oh, okay, okay, cool.
Because they were like, you can't use. Well, no, they weren't. I hired somebody on Fiverr because I couldn't figure it out.
It
you
happens. But
you can't use um videos that are royalty free.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You
That's
can't
so true.
use pictures of your dogs. I mean, you can't use videos of your dogs.
Yeah.
And it was
That
like really dumb things that I was
right.
naive about.
Don't worry, you're not naive. You just I mean you had the information you had at that point. You didn't know. So but
I
it's a
was
learning
I
it's a
was
learning.
naive
But you're now
because
monetized. Big house. Congratulations.
yeah. Well, see, eventually, I'm hoping it gets grows enough that I can start a foundation Bec-
Awesome.
because I lost my child and
Oh
I have
sorry.
a surviving child, and I want to do see, my brain's a little glitchy tonight. I want to do Noah's Ark special things for special needs to help families that have handicapped children
Oh,
and
awesome.
that have typical siblings because there's a gap. Sometimes their insurance won't pay for equipment,
Yeah.
so I want to do that.
It's a good cause. I cross my fingers and I send that success energy to your space. You're
Thank you.
already doing something right. Putting yourself on YouTube, I always say it's already like a step of faith. So yeah, so it's literally I see that happening, and I wish you well in that.
Thank you. Because talking about being scared of being on this,
Yeah,
I was
I don't,
terrified when I started. I was terrified.
but now you're like, let's do this. You dance. You have that nice music when you are coming in.
Well, I started. I started. I started as a guest on somebody else's channel, and
Yeah,
he encouraged me to start this one. So my first video on YouTube compared to now, vastly different.
very different. I know. I know. I look at my old videos and sometimes I'm just like, oh, hey, Mom Malicious, what are you doing here? Like, how did these Kenyans find me? I need to have shared this. Let me share you out to my community. How
Oh,
did I
thank
forget?
you. Hello,
I,
Dima Malicious. Welcome.
how did I forget this? My interview with the dear Dana.
I think it would be wonderful if we can connect different parts of the world.
Yeah, Because
you
I'm
know.
seeing all my friends, I'm like, how did they know? And they didn't share it out. So now I have to share it out because I think I forgot it. I always forget sharing these things. So I always have to be reminded.
Said, I saw your photo, haha, so I had to come. Hmm.
This was my monetization photo. Oh my God, we completed the with the fireplace and stuff. Dana, you've really been stalking me.
Oh, talking you out.
How did you get this photo? And you know, it doesn't have those things that put on it, so it's actually very plain.
I got it off of your Instagram
Awesome. Okay, okay, good,
because I had
good.
to have a picture.
Now, why did Mom Alicia see the photo? Interesting. But thank you so much for coming. Mom Alicia is an amazing lawyer based here in Kenya as well. But she's originally from Uganda. Uganda is our neighboring country, but she's married to a Kenyan. So she's ours technically. As a Kenyan, I think we own her now because, yeah, by virtue of marriage, and she's been here for years. She's now ours. Uganda lost their beautiful daughter to us. We won.
She said, I'm just up to make breakfast. Yum.
Yeah, it's morning. She lives in the coast, just next to the ocean there. So
Oh, I bet it's beautiful.
yeah, it's very beautiful. It's very nice. Yeah. I don't know if there's any question for me. Oh wow, we're almost here for 2 hours. I can linger on for about 15 minutes in case, and then I'll drop off.
Any more questions for him? Because I know that he has to go.
Yeah.
It has been such a pleasure to have you. Just don't know what a pleasure it's been to have you on. You're so multi layered, you're eloquent, your practice is beautiful. You had so many things about you. It was more than just the energy. I thought, well, this is about self care too. I'll invite him on. We'll talk about his practice. And then I saw other aspects to you. And I was like, wow, I like him.
I went through a number of your live videos and the ones you've done just to be able to have a sense. And I was like, oh, she started the meditation. But I love the dance. The entrance is everything. Like it's it really sets the stage. And I was like, this is actually a very nice. She's fun. She's fun. It doesn't feel like an inter because my people accuse me of drama. Like I always come in with drama theatrics before I settle in for the live stream. So I'm always like, yeah, that's a way of like making you guys feel comfortable so that we can do this because we have a whole mountain ahead of us. So might
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, YouTube is already hard enough. Let's make fun.
I'm not always dancing, but sometimes, yeah, I'm dancing because I thought I try to get people to do the breath work.
Yeah.
And I
No,
thought,
it's good.
why not add some music to it? Because I know they get tired of me pushing the breath work.
No, guys, she's doing an amazing job. That breath thing that she's telling you about, one day you'll be somewhere and you'll realize that it's the only thing that can help you. Your breath is your most powerful tool. Like I don't even want my best video on YouTube was on breath work. Like the video, that video that got me up there to 1K and everything. It's purely breath work. It's purely breath work. I was just by the ocean breathing in and out. That's it. That's the video that really was the milestone. So not even the exercise. Not I've done fancy postures. Trust me. I've tried to like be as crazy as possible when it comes to yoga postures, but it is the breath work that did the magic. It's that one, that simple thing that I underestimated is what did the trick. So it's your most. I mean, literally and figuratively, it's your most powerful tool.
I mean, it can save you when you can't think, when you're in an emergency, when a crisis is happening,
Yeah,
when you have to go speak in front of people and you're about to fall apart.
absolutely. It's
It
your
is your
most powerful.
super tool.
Yeah. And it's free because remember, if you die today, it's gone. It's literally and there's one thing I also want to talk about just before I leave, and you learn this also in yoga practice about impermanence. Nothing lasts forever, and it's the one reality you have to accept generally as you live in this world we are in. And it makes you a much happier person because you have a very short time here. So what are you going to do in this short time that you're on this earth? What is the difference you're going to make? Are you going to make people's life a living chaos, or are you actually going to make their life something better? So sometimes when you start thinking about it that way, it just makes it super easy. Welcome, Irene. How you doing, Irene? Welcome,
Hey,
welcome, welcome.
Irene.
Yeah. So yeah, so so you have to think of it that way. So if you have your breath for the shortest time, make use of it. Tap into it. You have amazing people who have even survived in the what is that tall? What is the name of that tall mountain? In Nepal, Mount Everest.
Yeah,
Just because of breath. You read stories about Mount Everest. People who have gone to climb Mount Everest, they say it is very common to find dead bodies on your
yeah,
way, because this, and sometimes you look at it and you can't do anything about it because you can't get them down. There are families who have never recovered their loved ones who went to climb Mount Everest. But you look at it and you're like, I kind of respect those people because they died doing their thing, what they loved. I mean, what else
yeah.
do you look for after you've climbed the tallest mountain in the world? I mean, I think I would be very fulfilled. But you never know. You may come and say, I need a new mountain to climb or something like that. But that aspect of impermanence, it's also very important. So the shortest time you have, make use of that breath. Better that breath. Make sure you're tapping into your entire system. Make sure you're making movement with your joints. Let your life be a dance in the short time that you have here. And I think
Oh,
that's the most important thing I would just want to say as I sign off.
I love that so much that you said that.
Yeah.
Love it. Um,
Thank you.
and my motto here is your vibe attracts your tribe.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. You see, hear the accent.
It's not so distinct, like because I was such a fan of the Real Housewives of Atlanta thing because of the,
Really?
the craziness and stuff. But yeah, pleasure. I didn't know you're from Atlanta. It's nice. I'm happy.
But if I get real tired, sometimes I'll start talking like this. I'll go into another lingo accent. If I get real
Like you just did.
yeah.
Like you just did. This is so good. That's so cool.
It'll swing to something else. Hello, the malicious. How are you
Where,
doing?
where is our Dana? What did you do with Dana? That is not Dana. What's that? What voice is this?
Yeah, I know. Dana's going somewhere because she's getting tired and needs food. But
So first,
it has been an extreme pleasure to have you on my
me
channel.
too. I really appreciate as well. I'm glad I was struggling. I remember when I joined the live stream because I just woken up, so I was just trying. I was like, am I going even to be awake for this? But you made it very warm and it felt nice, and I'm glad that we actually did this. Time zones notwithstanding, anything is possible for sure.
But please, everyone that is watching this, look, the energy has been wonderful. He is definitely a good human. Go check out his channel, subscribe, like, watch, try out some of the yoga.
Yeah.
You're not expected to do all the positions. It's a practice for a reason.
I was going to tell. I'm glad you said it because I was going to tell them to practice as well, because this watch pose, the people are like, Goga, I'm watching. I'm like, no, there's no watch pose in yoga, guys. You have to practice.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
But
you have to practice.
you're not going to be able to do all those positions. Trust me.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, let it inspire you to start your practice. 100%.
but hey, Mark Kropka, try what you can, and then try again the next day, and the next day, and you'll find your body will start agreeing more with the things that you try, and you'll be able to do more and more positions.
Absolutely. Um, yes, please help Dana's chat. Did you like turn on the commercials on your live stream, or you normally do it after?
The commercials, I have to go and put all the stuff in after the video, and then
Okay, cool.
okay it for commercials,
Okay,
and
okay.
they'll pop on later.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I know there are different content creators who normally have a different practice. They don't put commercials when they're live. Some put them when they're live so that anybody who's coming in will find commercials before they come in. So I'll just check in. I know when you're newly monetized, we forget these things. So I'm always very keen on helping content creators remember this this small.
Oh, do you prefer it not be on here?
No, no, it's perfectly fine. It's good. That's what I was asking whether you turned it on before we came on live.
Oh no, I do it after
Okay, cool, cool. I didn't see
Be-
them. That's why.
because it's invasive while I'm
Yeah,
doing my live.
yeah, yeah. With the nature of your live stream, I agree.
Yeah, and like I said, I have MS. I would end up going squirrel and forget what I want to say. Get distracted is what I mean.
I like your husky voice. It's very you should do for me a voiceover on an introduction. There's just a way it sounds very good.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know it was
Kelvin
husky.
Goga. I'll give you a line. I will send you a line on Instagram. I want you to do for me something there. I think it's very beautiful. Like there's a way
Oh,
it's coming
thank
out
you.
very nice.
Oh, you want me to say something?
Yeah, just something short. I love the voice. Like there's some huskiness to it that is so cool. I love it.
Oh, you mean raspiness or something?
That one. Yeah, the raspy voice. Like it's very good.
I'm going to soon. It's called ACX, and you can audition to read audiobooks.
Ooh.
And I'm going to try to audition to read some audiobooks.
Can you? Okay. Can you read what Virginia just wrote as an experiment to read the audiobooks?
Taco fun, snacks, coffee, whatever. Thank you, Virginia Woolf, for that super chat. I love you and thank you.
You
Sometimes
funny.
I'll pretend to be Siri in the car. It gets on my husband's nerves. I'll be the GPS. In 2 miles, take a right. Then in another block, take a left.
We're clearly done with the interview because we are now making fun, which is good. Hey, Alice, how you doing? Virginia, thank you so much for that amazing blessings. Mark, yes, you need some yoga. Let's do some yoga with Goga or Dana.
Yoga with Goga. Go, go, Goga.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I play with voices
It's really good. It's really good. I love it.
because I also have puppets.
Ah.
And when I would teach, I would do the voices of the puppets and not move my mouth for the
Mm.
students.
How do you do that? It really sounds like a trick or magic.
That's how I started doing the voices. Like, I don't have any of my puppets here, but for instance, hello, Goga. How are you doing today? Hi, Goga. Hello, Goga.
How are you doing that? Like you're not moving your lips or anything.
It is so hot outside, Goga. I'm tired. No yoga today. No yoga, Goga.
No, no, Dana, where is the voice? Where is the voice recorder for that one? Like, how are you doing that? Like, you
It's,
look like you just chill.
it takes practice. It's a practice.
Wow,
It is a lot of work, Goga.
I'm thrilled. I only see those puppeteers and I'm like, how do they do that? Like, it's so cool. It's so cool.
It's practice. It was an accident that it started working, but when you have Chinese children that do not speak English
Yeah.
and they're watching you and you've got to get their attention, I started buying puppets so I could
Wow.
keep their attention.
Creative.
Yeah. And then I
Mm.
started getting lots of students.
That's innovation as a teacher or a
Yeah.
tutor, for sure. So thank you so much as well for having me. Thank you so much everyone for bearing with us for the last 2 hours. I think we've been ranting here, but it was positive. I really felt
Yeah,
welcomed in this space.
I just
Sometimes
started enjoying being with you.
sometimes you go to spaces and you just feel like I need to flee. I need to flee. So I didn't know I was even going to stay here for so long, because I thought it was only going to be 1 hour, because I noticed Dana only does live streams for like about an hour as an
Yeah,
estimate. But yeah, we just hit 2 hours, so
yeah.
it
I
means
only
that
planned to be an hour tonight.
yeah, so it's 2 hours already in the next 30 seconds. So it really
Yeah.
feels I feel very like welcome, and I guess the energy was right, the space was great, and I'm glad we did this. I'm glad we did this.
Well, bless you, bless you, bless you. I hope to have you back. I swear, I hope to have you back.
100%. Let me know. I'll be there.
And just have, I don't know if you celebrate Christmas or not.
Yeah, I do.
Happy holidays,
Thank
blessings.
you.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, as I sign off, I always sign off with like an affirmation of sorts. So
Please.
I will just sign off with that one. So I'll just say, may you be happy. May your lives be free of sadness. May you find that inner peace in all that you do. And may you also find that which you seek, not just through a yoga practice, but also in every step you make in this life. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Kelvin Goga.
Appreciate it.
Success and everything.
Thank you. You too, Dana.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Have a wonderful night. I will see you on Saturday. And thank you for the love for Kelvin Goga. And we are out. Thank you for sticking with me. Love you all so very much. And remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. I will see you all next time. And thank you for all my new visitors. Love you all. Namaste. Here we go. Mwah. Ready to dance it out? Here we go. Let me find it.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Bye, everybody.
Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave.